My fiancé has been getting cozy with the younger women at his work. I informed him that it makes me uncomfortable and now he's mad at me for ruining their relationship. Plus update. As the title suggests, my 32F fiancé, 36 meters, and I have recently had a discussion about me feeling a little insecure in our relationship. He is a very kind and charismatic man and we have been together for 4 years, engaged and living together for 1 year. We have never had major issues like this before because we have always been transparent with one another. 2 months ago, a new girl, 24F, began working at his office. She is very young and based on our limited interactions, seems generally good-hearted, but I kept having a growing feeling that something was off. He had been coming home every day raving about her and how nice it is to have someone in the office who understands and laughs at his jokes. It seemed like an innocent work friendship, but he started to give me other details from their conversations that had me concerned. For instance, she would announce to him when she was ovulating or starting her period as an excuse for being grumpy or overly touchy. She began describing, in detail, all of the encounters she has had since moving to our city, and he was relaying some of these stories back to me as if they were exciting work stories. 2 weeks ago, I met her for the first time at a company dinner. I told her it was nice to finally meet her after hearing so much about her. She smiled, ignored me, and began talking to my fiancé about how different I was from her expectations. The next week, she had apparently been talking a lot at work about how pretty she thought I was and how lucky my partner and I are to have found one another. It felt strange that she had a lot to say about me, but didn't even speak to me when we had a chance to interact. I chalked it up to being nervous or shy. Last week, my fiancé came home with a very detailed story that she told him about a failed encounter, seeking advice. I felt very uncomfortable with this and let him know that, while it's likely just my insecurity, I don't trust this sort of behavior. He told me to give it time and once I get to know her, I'll see it's completely innocent. She asked him to meet up with her over the weekend and he went so far as to arrange a meeting, without telling me until the day before. We had originally made dinner plans with my parents and he told me he would come later on because he needed to meet with her to discuss her relationship problems. I very passionately told him that this is not okay and he cancelled his plans with her and said that it was cute that I was getting so jealous of her. We had a short chat about it later and he said he would establish some distance. This Monday, after work, she called his personal phone. She said he had not sent her any jokes at work that day and she wanted to know why. I told him he needed to set boundaries, immediately. It's fine to be friendly with people in the office, but it really felt excessive that she was calling because he was enacting some kind of boundaries. I was upset that he had given her access to a private communication line, as well. He said he would just tell her he was busy with work and the thought to send jokes didn't cross his mind. And I thought that would be the end of the conversation. Today, he came home from work sulking and refused to talk with me. Eventually, he told me that he explained to her that I was feeling insecure about how close their friendship had become and she said that she didn't want to make me uncomfortable, so she said she wouldn't speak to him at all anymore. He was crying and told me that she's just like a younger sister, he's an only child, and he was happy that she trusted him, but he was forced to end the relationship because of me. I apologized and told him that I had expected him to keep my feelings private and adjust his behavior rather than telling her everything. He said that it would be dishonest and he didn't want to distance himself from her without making her aware of the situation. I asked him why it was so important for him to discuss very personal and NSFW topics with the younger women that he has only known for 2 months. He angrily expressed to me that I'm trying to police his joy and said that I'm just upset that he has been too happy since meeting her. He said I should have never brought it up. I feel that him telling all of this to his coworker is a breach of my trust in him. He is convinced that I ruined their relationship by being jealous. I feel really bad because he was very happy at work and was happy about joking around and having lunch with her, but he said that because of me, they can't have any kind of relationship at all. Was my expression of feeling insecure the catalyst? Should I have kept this to myself? Edit. Thank you all for your advice and particularly for the articles about emotional affairs. I am going to have a discussion with him tonight and be completely honest about my feelings and go over some of the signs. I'll let you know how it goes. Update. We discussed the situation one-on-one and he agreed that he was very much in the midst of an emotional affair, but claimed that it just felt good to have attention from someone at work. He said it might be a good idea to hear perspectives from some of his coworkers, so I reached out to 2 of them and I asked what they thought of the relationship. One coworker said it was obvious what was happening and they didn't want to get involved because they didn't want to be the one to break that news to me. Another coworker said that he witnessed some of their conversations and this is just the way people in the office chat. My fiance clung to that last opinion and started making excuses again, so we had the emotional affair conversation all over again. He said this is too emotionally charged for him to make a decision right now. I told him that I do not lack that capacity, so he gets 24 hours to sort out his priorities and have a heart-to-heart with me. Otherwise, he can go live with his work wife. Our neighbors have been throwing secret pool parties at our pool when we are on vacation. A few years ago my husband and I purchased a house with a pool. Now we are acquainted with most of our neighbors, but definitely not close friends with any of them. They all seem nice but well just don't have much in common other where we live. Next door to the right is a family of 6. Twin daughters attending the local university, high school-age son, and a young elementary school-age daughter, maybe first or second grade, and the parents. Now normally we open the pool in early May and keep it open until the end of October, but this year our weather was off and we had a very cool and very wet month of May and then June went straight to 100-degree temperatures. I am currently on a medication that makes it difficult for me to tolerate being in the sun and heat for an extended time. Plus, we have been helping 2 extended family members who are having health issues. So because of this we haven't had our pool open yet this year. Normally we go to the family lake house for a week during each of the 3 major holidays, but we didn't go for Memorial Day because there was flooding around the lake this year, and because a family member was just discharged from the hospital yesterday and July 4th being a Thursday this year we decided to stay home this week and be available to help this family member. Now several times in June, the little girl next door has seen either my husband or myself outside and she has asked when we are opening the pool. We first told her maybe later, but the last time, yesterday, she asked and I said we are probably just not going to open it this year, and she started crying. Now we have never had any of the neighbors over to use our pool so I didn't understand why she was crying over us not opening our pool. Well, I spoke with the neighbor on the left later and apparently our neighbors on the right have been having a small family party at our pool every 4th of July when we are gone. They have always cleaned up really well afterwards and because we have scheduled pool maintenance and weekly yard service occasionally things are moved around in our yard and we never thought much about it. The neighbor on the left thought we had given the other neighbors permission to use our pool. We did give them permission to retrieve any balls or toys that ended up in our yard, but never permission to use our pool, especially when we are not at home. We have a special latch on the gate and my husband did show the neighbor how to open the gate to retrieve his kids' toys. So now my husband, who loves gadgets, is going to have several more cameras installed around the exterior of our house, covering the gate and pool area. And have the gate latch made where we can grant remote access for the pool service and yardmen. Luckily we have a friend who does cameras and home automation systems. I'm annoyed our neighbors have been using our pool without permission, but my husband is happy I am letting him get more gadgets around the house. Now do we confront the neighbors and let them know we know they have been using our pool, or just wait and see if they say anything about our new security cameras?
My dad always neglected me in favor of my twin sister. Now that he needs me, I told him he can't treat me like a toy and then discard me once I've served my purpose. I, 22 meters, am a twin and I have a twin sister Ren. When Ren and I were 4, our mom passed from liver cancer. She was 30. I know that would be difficult for Dad. Going from a happily married father of 2 to a widowed father of 2 with no family close enough, emotionally, for support would be a lot. But he was a better dad to my sister than to me and that started before Mom died. It just stood out more after. My dad was an affectionate and caring father to Ren. She was his little girl and cherished her. If she fell, he would pick her up, kiss her tears and clean her cuts. He was gentle and compassionate with her. When she was upset, she could sleep in bed with him. He'd snuggle with her on the couch. He'd pull her out of school sometimes and take her for father-daughter dates. When she was bullied, he was riding the school hard to deal with it and he fought so hard for her. He went out of his way to make sure she was loved and supported. Growing up, I heard the words tough and strong a lot. I heard the word man a lot and I was still so young. He never cuddled me or kissed away my tears or carried me. He never even said I love you to me. There was nothing gentle about him when it came to me. He was rougher, harsher. He expected me to be tough, to be a man, to be strong. If I had a nightmare, I was sent right back to bed. When I got bullied horrifically in high school, my dad didn't want to know. There were times Ren and I would both fall. We'd both be young too. And even if I was bleeding more, she was the kid he comforted. It was never me, not if it was both of us falling and not if it was just me. He never did father-son dates. The most interest he ever showed in me was when I could help him do guy chores, like moving stuff. I tried to approach this with him on a few different occasions, but I never got to finish. He always cut me off for one reason or another. It got to a point where I expected it if I tried. I moved in with my best friend's family after I finished high school. Ren lived at home for 2 more years. Dad only called me when he wanted something. He did it again the other day and I decided this had to end. I told him I'm not a toy he can take out when he needs me and then discard me once I've served my purpose. I told him I'm his son, not his helper. And I brought up how he never says he misses me, or says I love you. He never ever showed me love or affection and I wasn't going to tolerate it anymore. Dad sent me an email in response saying I was being very harsh. He said I was never his little girl and boys are raised different. I replied, I was never trying to be his little girl. But I was his little boy and he should have shown me love too. He responded again that I accused him of discarding me like a possession which was unjustified. Ida,